What's good? Welcome to the We Don't Play radio station, where we don't play all day, every day. You know, that's what we do. Okay, so we have a guest today, and he goes by the name Shavacc. And you guys are going to love his music because there is going to be so much involved. And when I say so much involved, you guys are going to be listening to a lot of just new sounds. You know, people who have been able to do it, record, produce, make a lot of music. This is Shavacc. And Shavacc is not just an artist. You know, he's a multi-talented, gifted artist. And he has a lot of sounds under his belt. So he has a lot to ask and a lot to answer. And the questions he wants to ask are going to be pertaining to his sound, but at the same time he has something that he can put out for people to listen to, that they could hear and get answers to. That's the beauty of music. You're able to ask questions, you're able to give feedback at the same time. I don't know, that's crazy, but you know, we don't play all day. What you say? How about that? Okay. You know, we're just running it out for you guys, having an amazing time, being in the light, you know, being on the spotlight, being in that zone where we're able to control things, you know, enjoy things, feel good. This is what we need. You know, we need music like this. We need good sounds. We need good things that can bring good memories. And I believe one of the good memories is by us having an amazing We Don't Play podcast station ready for y'all. You know what I'm saying? There's so much to look forward to. There's so much to find out. There's so much to feel. And I want you guys to feel this guy's music too, because he has a lot under his belt. If you guys haven't heard, you guys are going to be amazed by what you hear. Like, just be ready. Just be ready. That's what I'm gonna say, because he does amazing in his piece of art, you know, in his piece of mind. And this is the kind of people you want to actually like talk to, work with, build with. And oh yeah, guys, I know I'm just going around the bush, but he has been making a lot of music, and he also engineered Siren. You guys should listen to Siren. Siren is an amazing track where you just see the beauty of people in music and bring out the best of themselves in the life that we chose. And I'm going to show you Shavacc today. If you're on Pinterest, check out We Don't Play, because, you know, we don't play all day, every day. So welcome to the room, Backlog. His name is actually Backlog. So we're about to go in and see what's going on, because we got Shavacc in the building. He's just logging in. I told you guys he's going to be here. So you guys are going to have an amazing time and listen to him, you know, drop some bars, drop some amazing melodies and some insights. So I'm looking for you. I can't see you. Are you there? You're on mute. I think your video is on mute and your audio is on mute too.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but could you be a little louder?
Hey, hello? Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's good?
Everything's good. It's good. Chilling.
You chilling?
Get music. You know, it's grinding.
I like your room out there.
It is actually my studio.
Oh, your studio. Dope.
Yeah.
Dope. What you working on right now?
Just working on some beats, you know, for a couple of projects and other people's stuff also. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, let me say two things. One, congratulations on your drop.
Thank you.
And number two, Siren was mad killer. I was just telling them about you engineering the track, and I want to know what you were thinking of when you made that piece of work, because it took 7 years to get there. So we're gonna get to that. You know,
Wow.
yeah. So somewhere in between we'll bring it back, but right now it's all about you. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, like, tell me what music means to you as an artist, as a creator of music, because everybody has their own strengths. So you definitely know what the sound is like for you right now. So what does music mean to you?
See, it's a very tough question because music is basically life to me. It's life. It's a language. That's the way I see it. Because you can listen to like Spanish music and have no idea what they're saying, but you still feel it. You can
Yeah.
listen to British music or just anything, and you can still groove to it. Like even back in the days, like before, modern technology, people were making music in villages. People were making music back in the day with woods, stones. So I feel like music is a language that can never die.
Mm.
You know, so to me, it just evolves. That's the only thing. It just keeps evolving. Like you hear different sounds. Like there's a time where dubstep was like the only thing you could hear on the radio. There's a time
Right.
where like all you hear was just R&B, soul. Back in the day. So it's like music just keeps evolving. Like right now we have trap. We have Afro beats killing the scene. Also, so many types of music. So and the tough part about music as an artist is if you don't understand the language, it could be hard for you to reach people.
Mm.
Cause emotion also. That's what I see it as. It's a if you can speak to people, if you can touch people's lives. Like even look at gospel music. Gospel music, they're doing wonders all over the world. Touching lives. So it's because I grew up in the church, so I understand the power of music and how music can move people and make people feel a certain way and make people feel what you want them to feel. Because most people don't know what they're going into listening to your song. So you have to suggest those things to them. Like, this is what I want you to dance. I want you to
Mm-hmm.
feel lonely, to feel sad.
Mm-hmm.
So music really is to me. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
I see that, because that makes a lot of sense when you see music in the light of how it brings emotional value to somebody's life. Like you hear a song, you remember a scene, or
Exactly.
you remember this
Nostalgia.
story. Yeah, nostalgia hits you. So that happy moment, that sad moment, that movie moment,
Mm.
when you make music now, how does that transcend, and what kind of suggestions are you bringing to your listeners?
Mm. The reason why I actually started making music, because I mean, before I dropped any song at all, I always like had a personal connection with music. Like a lot of people say, like music is it's not therapy,
Mm.
but it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
You know, you can feel like sometimes I don't say depressed, but like just have a really bad mood, and you can just sit down on a keyboard and just play anything, and it starts translating to the music that you're bringing out. So that's the way it started. Like I didn't even think about well I could be an artist or anything. It was just let me just go on the keyboard and let me just play my emotions away. So
Mm.
then playing, it got all that negative energy out, all that the down, the worst moments of my life. That brought that out. So now making music, I've had my peace with that moment of my life. So I
Mm.
don't have to have negative experiences to make sad music or so it's just right now it's like I just make what I feel. in this moment? What speaks to me, or what sounds good to me also? Because the mistake what people make is that just make music that you feel. Just if you're sad, just make sad music.
Mm.
Or if you lost, a ex, just make music about them. But sometimes people forget that music too is storytelling. It's like writing a movie. You don't have to be in a relationship to write about a relationship. You don't have to, so things like that is what I ended up realizing after, a while, that just tell stories, happy endings, even sad endings. It doesn't really matter, but just tell stories that speak to you. Something you can imagine a person going through, because
Mm.
a lot of people go through a lot these days. So your music definitely is going to touch somebody. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, that's deep. Because now when you think about music and you do it, you're now focusing on that person's emotion and what you're trying to tell them rather than being sporadically crazy with your talent, you know?
Exactly.
Because some people have talent, but you, like you said, you have to understand the language. And it's hard to understand a language already. Talk less of music that involves physical, mental, emotional, melodic, rhythm.
Yep. Totally.
You know, it's a whole body.
Yep. It's true. It's hard understanding most languages. So it's not easy. Like, you have to just keep practicing and keep trying until you fail, because, we all fail at some point, but it shouldn't bring us down. It shouldn't make us feel like we don't have it. It just takes practice. Like, if I said I wanted to learn German today, just because 500 or five people, just five, yeah, just five Germans tell me, oh yeah, your German is kind of trash. You need to work on it. Because people tell you your music is trash. People tell me your music is trash. But if you keep practicing, at some point people they notice. They're like, wow, it's, it sounds good. Like, how? Then they start asking you the history behind why you learned German and why you sound so good. So it's not something that's really taught. It's something that you practice and you feel, because there's so many languages, but why do I want to understand music as a language? What do you want to use it for?
Mm-hmm.
That's what, as a person. Yeah.
Yeah, music as a person is very intellectually driven by what you felt, what you want to feel, or maybe something you want to predict. Like, people will make crazy songs like, "Oh, I'm hopping up in a Lambo. I woke up in a new Bugatti. Hop in my Maserati. Like, this is good stuff. You know what I'm saying? But also, the people who are singing it are trying to think about it like that, which is a happy feeling, because that's excitement. But also, when you give them the same story in a different dimension, they're like, oh wow, it could be different too. So that creativity, that artistic value is now where you come in as an artist. And for people who have never heard your music, and before, let's say you have a presentation and you have something to tell them before they listen, like a disclaimer, what would you tell them? What would be those words to tell them about your music before they press play?
Well, I really don't know. Because there's so, and the one thing I always try to do is to not be caged to be caged in one genre of music. Like, that's one of my biggest fears too, like, to be just stuck in one position and not being able to be flexible. So I would tell people, listen, but don't be surprised if I switch it up. You might hear me singing, like,
Oh man.
That's all I'll say. Like, just because you hear me sing one R&B song doesn't mean like the next song is gonna be an R&B song, or like the next song gonna be what you expect.
Right.
Yeah, like, I could be singing like ballads. Next thing, hear like some old school jam.
Oh
You know,
man.
many influences, around me, and I like to explore those things. I don't like to just, force one thing to work.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a good thing because I've heard your songs. I've heard Out the Water. I've had Wipe Your Nose. Um, Even the tracks. Like if people are hearing this and they're like, "Wipe your nose." What are you talking about? Is it a coronavirus song? Is it like what is what is your goal? But I think the beauty about music is people can really get tapped in when they know, oh wow, he used that to do this. Okay, let me see what else he got. So now you have another song called Come Over. And what would you say about these three songs that I just mentioned? Like they've not heard it, but I have, and if they go and hear it, they'll probably feel the same way. So what do you want to say about those tracks when you were making them? What is your mindset in?
Wipe Your Nose. The way the song even came to me was I've always like just had those words in my head. Just wipe your nose. I'm like, that would sound like a good lyrics, but I never like planned on making a song or anything with it. So I was just coming back from church, actually, at church rehearsal. It just kept ringing in my head like wipe your nose. Na, 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 na. I was like, I think this is it. I think this is the song I've always wanted to write because I haven't had it in my notes. But like no plan, no idea, nothing. And it just came, and it just came out straight. Like I didn't even try too hard for that to come out. And I wrote it like before the pandemic even happened. So I don't know. That's how the future.
Wow.
Yeah, I wrote it before anything even happened. I think I wrote it like maybe February or January, like one of those times. Yeah. So that was actually my first official release. I mean, I had a song before that, but that song is, I don't really talk about that song like that. So Wipe Your Nose is the song that I would, that I just felt like it was a good way to start my artist journey. I felt like it had so many messages, so many hidden messages also. And I mean, we could say that it kind of predicted the whole Corona thing that happened. So that's what I would say is that it helped me because I was more comfortable actually, releasing that song first rather than any other thing. So it was a very good opening for me. And like if you listen to the message, like I was even thanking God at the end. And I think, I had to even go back and rewrite the end of the song because Kobe just died. So I was like, damn, like this is crazy. And I put it there like RP, Kobe, shout out my mom, shout out God, just a lot of things. And I felt like, this is a good way to open, my journey.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that happened with that song.
Okay. I'm actually seeing it now. I'm actually seeing it because when I listened to Wipe Your Nose, I was like, this is perfect timing. Because the way people do songs and then it just blows up. Shout out to Burna Boy. That's what happened to him. So you can literally be in the same zone thinking about the same thing and then somebody drops. It happened to me too. When the day I dropped a track called Standard, that was the same day Ricardo Banks came to the studio to Nigeria FM to produce and publish the song as a release. And I was like, the song is called Standard. So what happened to my standard? So I was confused, but I was excited at the same time. I was like, this is a good sign for me because I'm on the same wavelength in terms of frequency and understanding. Then I've seen it happen to somebody. Now I'm hearing you bring a song before the pandemic. Who's going to wipe their nose before the pandemic? I mean, you do, but it's not really like consciously driven. Now when you sing a song, it's like, wow, really? So it kind of brings everything back home. That's how it feels. And I'm like, okay, okay. This is good. Then eventually people will see, they'll be like, oh, wow, he really predicted it. Oh, okay, what else does he have? So that wow factor has now given people the reason to listen to your next songs because they're like, okay, he could do something else. It's not really based on Corona. It's just based on the fact that he planned something that was so specific that really worked, and people were listening to it. I remember when we put it out, it was like, oh, so people are really trying to pay attention about their nose, and probably it was a very subconscious thing. So you would definitely want to know more. It sounds like a parody, but it sounds like a very great track for the season, and that's what it achieved. So I think of it like this is always an avenue to get better and get your music out there in a way that people can resonate. And if you now move over to the next track, which was Out the Water. Now, explain Out the Water.
So the water was, I feel like that's a more personal song too,
Okay.
because I feel like a lot of people can relate to that song. A lot of people. Funny thing, like so many people call me and like, oh my gosh, who hurt you? Like, you know what happened? I'm like, I'm good. It's just, I feel like it brought my emotional side out, because the actual idea of the song wasn't even anything like that. It was supposed to be more like a Drake vibe. I don't know if you got like a Drake vibe listening to, like, if they listen, like, you can hear the Drake. Like, if you think about Successful.
Okay.
The vibe, that I was like kind of going for. I was like, something is missing. Like, the whole song has a message, but I didn't know what message I wanted it to be at that moment. But I feel like the whole thing had to be a message. So, like, just moving on, it probably took maybe about 5 months or less for that song to be completed. But it was more emotional, because the idea of the song is somebody trying to save another person, but the person doesn't want to be saved, or is not sure if they should put their trust in that person.
Right.
Yeah, so I've heard like from a lot of people too, that's like a toxic relationship, something like that. Because if you listen to the first verse, I said something like, you see I'm trying to hold you down, but you think I'm trying to hold you back. So
exactly.
This conflict of interest. They're not sure. So that's a problem with a lot of people too in a relationship. Is like, is he cheating on me? Is she cheating on me? What's going on? I'm not sure. But it's like, I'm just looking out for you. And it could be a friendship also. So that was the idea that I had writing that song, because I felt like water it's a very deep, no pun intended, but it's a very deep to be lost. Because you can't breathe, you're drowning, you can't see, there's sharks.
Right.
In the cover, sharks. So there's so many things, because the cover art was like, there was a jellyfish and there was a shark. So those two things don't really work. They don't connect. So that was one of the ideas that I had for the cover too of the song. So to be lost in water and somebody trying to save you, but you're not sure if you should, stretch out your arms. But it's like, just give me your hand. Everything will be all right. So that was the idea for that song. That was the thought process going into that song.
Wow. So that was more of trust, like a song that kind of meant that, hey, I don't trust you enough to let you save me, but also I trust you enough to try.
Yep. And it could be seen too with relationship with God also,
Yeah.
Because the Christian is like, there's so many temptations, there's so many things, there's so many distractions. But God could just be telling us, just trust me, just give me your hand. Everything will be all right,
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, I see that. Now that you're even mentioning these tracks, to me, it sounds like it's going to be such a movie. If you really think about all these tracks, I'm thinking movie scenes. I'm thinking crazy ideas, because now people are going to be intrigued by what you're hearing. Like you said, you might get surprised. So that surprise is like a visual impact that's going to make you want to listen more, because now it's not just a song with a chorus and a verse. You know, now there's an arrangement. Now there's a melody, there's a pattern, there's a hook, there's a reason, there's a message. So now the music is making more sense. And then somebody will listen to Wipe Your Nose, listen to Out the Water. They'll be like, okay, now I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And then right after Out the Water, you have Come Over.
I had Lockdown.
Lockdown, yeah, we can't forget Lockdown. We can't forget Lockdown. Tell me more about Lockdown from your perspective.
Lockdown is actually like one of my fastest songs that I wrote. It didn't take me any time to write that song.
Okay.
Yeah. The song was actually kind of the demo, in my opinion. Because I didn't re-record anything. Everything that's recorded was what came out, in the freestyle.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more of the lockdown, literally, and your heart on lockdown.
Yeah.
So it's like a double meaning thing too.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a relationship thing too. Just not necessarily a love relationship. Could be like a parent and a child, or just a friend. That's how lockdown kind of is. But I mean, it's my more edgy song. Like, I'm more edgier than my other song. I think like that's my only explicit lyric song.
Okay.
More you got me on lockdown, and it's edgy, and it's not really about like emotion too. Like, there's some sex in there, and just a lot of things going on in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I see that.
Get it at the same time.
Say that again?
I said it's like you want it, but you can't get it.
Oh, yeah.
Down, like you're isolated from that person. From the
Right. You're distancing mentally too.
Yeah, mentally, exactly. Like, you can't think about any other thing but her. That's the only way. You're just trying your best. Because if you listen to the song, it's more like a sad ending. Like, you don't get it at the end of the day. So it's like kind of expected. Yeah, that's the way it is.
Wow.
We move on to Come Over.
Exactly.
Yep.
Oh, I see now. Lockdown to Come Over. So now is when everybody's trying to stabilize. People are trying to get back and be like, okay, come through. Let's see what you got. Have you changed? Are you better? Are you the same? Have you grown bigger? What's going on? And then I think that's where it's like from Come Over now it's going to be like a party scene. So I can now see Wipe Your Nose sounds like you are by yourself trying to fix your life. Out the Water, you're still struggling because you're still dealing with breathing. Then
like people, push so many people away. A lot of people couldn't be around you. Coronavirus, just a lot of things.
Yeah, true.
Year just started and it just went by like that. So it feels like you lost so many people. Some people you had to cut up too. So that's how the water is.
Okay. I see that now. That makes a lot of sense because Out the Water has that demeanor. It's like, okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see if I can swim at all. And then Lockdown, you're still kind of in the downside because if you think of Wipe Your Nose, you're down. Lockdown, you're down, already down. Out the Water, you're in, but you're out, but you're like down. So it's like, okay, now Come Over is like going over your Down syndrome or whatever you want to call it, and then building that arc to get over the faults and over the mishaps. I see that.
Yep.
I see that. Okay.
The bridge said, once I met you, I was sober. So it says it there. Now I'm ready. Just come over. I promise I'll give love guaranteed. It's like a breath of fresh air.
Right. I see that. This could actually be. Sorry again.
Long time. I wrote the song a long time ago too.
How long ago?
2 years ago.
2 years.
It was one of my first songs when I just started
Wow. Wow. I believe that because it took a while to get Siren out. So I know what you mean.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Takes a while.
It does take a while. Sometimes you just don't want to drop any kind of music because if you drop it and you want to redo it and think about it, it's not going to be as good. Look at what happened to us. You know, we can't redo perfection, if that makes sense. Like when you hear something that sounds good the first time, you don't want to change it because if you do, you lose the momentum or you lose the spice.
Behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
If you've gotten to a point where you love this sauce and it's perfect, then you want to say, "Oh, let me add some more salt to see if it's going to work." Bro, you might as well just not cook the food because now you're spoiling the process because you don't trust the process. So that's why I was like, sometimes things happen for a reason. Maybe it's supposed to be on there. Some people make it to track, some don't. Some beats. Look at Rihanna. That umbrella was supposed to go to Mary J. Blige. Now look at what happened. You know? So it could be your day. It could be anybody's day. As far as you know what you're planning to do and you're doing it in a godly mindset with that intention to make a difference for better, then you can try to do better. But if not, then you're going to keep going around in circles and you might just find the wrong thing and it won't be working for you. So I see what you mean. And if it got to a point where I was even thinking I would have definitely loved to do a remix to Wipe Your Nose just because there was a section that I could hear the beat chopped and I was like, oh, I could drop some flows over here and just talk about the virus, corona, and whatever 19 stuff that's going on.
Yeah. Before, yeah, somebody else said the same thing too. TFG Media, one of my good friends, he said that too. He said he wanted to do like a remix to the thing there. Yeah, that's right. I hear what you mean. You know, it's like I try to make it as soulful as possible too, but
Mm,
with that trap feel. You know, soulful with trap feel because it's the real instruments in the
yeah,
whole thing.
yeah,
Real.
exactly.
I played all those stuff, so it's one of those things that you just have to. You can't. You know, sell yourself short.
No, you
It's like
can't.
a funny thing you said. It's like cooking a food because the thing is that sometimes we can cook food and it tastes the best, but the problem is trying to recreate it if you didn't, you know, if you did, if you did write down the ingredients and all that. Nobody really does that, and if we're not careful, we're just gonna keep trying to find what made the food good the first time instead of just moving on because it's
Right.
really not.
Right. Even as a producer, if you think about it the same way, if you make a beat and then it sounds good, and then you want to add like a little tambourine, like there's no reason to add it when the beat is already bumping. So it's the same thing with music. If you feel it's right and it sounds right and it's supposed to be there, then just go with the flow, go with that momentum, and then that way it brings the right people to that song. Like some people are like, "Oh, I've not heard this song. I've not heard this song." Well, that's not my fault because I already dropped it. You just need to listen. But now either people don't listen through it or they just listen for what they want, but you as an artist has sent your message and whoever it's going to touch is going to touch them because people can take music differently. You can take it in a nice way because you just love the sound of the saxophone. You might just not like it because it sounds too grungy. You know, it could be anything. You know, so it's people's taste.
Yeah, I don't like chocolate ice cream. Doesn't mean it's a bad flavor. But I just don't. You know, it's one of those things. And
Right.
that's what I really. There's nothing like a bad song. There's only bad timing. There's if Michael Jackson released Billie Jean today, I don't know if it's gonna be the same. It's gonna have the same feel. You
Mm-mm.
know, or if Lil Baby, the Baby, if they released this song like in the early 2000s, it might be taken in a very negative way because some of the lyrics now are like crazier, like it's direct. They don't even filter anything. So that's the thing. It's only bad timing, and that's why we have to, as musicians, as artists, as producers and all that, we have to be current too with the way things are going in the music industry. Like we have to be aware because a lot of people just ignore. Yeah, I just want to make my own style, but like you can make your own style, make what you want, but you have to follow the trends in some way. Not fully, but just understand the market because music is a market. It's an investment. And people is risks. Some people put everything they have into music and it doesn't work out for them. And some people put just a little effort to find the right person, the right deals, and they just blow up overnight. So it's one thing I feel with music, like just bad timing.
Mm.
Nobody music. Yeah.
Right, right. It's just bad timing. Honestly, you're right. You're right. I think about it too. I'm like, okay. Even the songs that I dropped this year, I was not planning on dropping anything this year. I was like, what am I dropping for? I'm not going anywhere. But I was like, if I don't drop this tape today, it may not be relevant next year. So let me just drop what it feels right to me today and do away with 2020's vibes, because last year I had different vibes. Next year I'm going to have different vibes, God willing. So it just keeps getting better. I don't want to be dragging on this song for too long. Look, I dragged on Siren for 7 years, not because I wanted it to drag, but I just realized that sometimes some songs just have to wait.
That's true. It's a very good ending to 2020. That Siren is like this is the only time where the song makes sense now. Because I felt it. You saw I felt it immediately. The day you played it for me, I felt it. I was like, I need to mix this song. I need to. Because I just felt it immediately. So if you played it last year, I was just like, oh, yeah, it's a good song. That is the most. That's one thing.
Right. Right. And I actually almost dropped this track. I actually didn't like the verses. That's the craziest part. I made the verses, I recorded, because I usually have a process. When I'm making music, it's either I recorded the melody on my phone or just go in the studio and start rapping or recording, and then I come up with a melody and then make the bars out of it, or I actually start with a punchline from nowhere, then I now build the story around it. So it's like a catchphrase. So I could go any way. I could listen to a track and just be bopping my head and it comes to me. So this song, I was in the studio, I started writing. I was like, because at first it wasn't like that jumpy. It was very straight, 1, 2, and I was like, this is boring. So let me change the flow, because when people hear different flows, they want to stay engaged. So I was like, how can I keep people engaged for 4 minutes? So let me try, that was a long song. So you don't want to feel like the song is dragging and you check the timing. Is it finished? When people check those things, I want it to be like when the song starts and your eyes are closed, you don't know what's coming because you want to enjoy that moment. And that's what I was really trying to create in my head. And I didn't tell you much. I only told you that this is a song that's dedicated to this particular moment, and this year has a lot to offer. So whatever was put in there was just based on experience from high school, college, now, last year, the album dropping, now I have online courses. So it's like I threw everything in there to just say, hey man, if you guys don't really know me, just listen to this one song. You'll know everything that has been happening. And that's when I said, okay, let me give it to you to see how you can build it. So when you were mixing this song, even if you're mixing other tracks, what is that wow moment for you that gives you that acceleration to be like, okay, I got it?
To be honest, it's just the future. I just see what it can become. Like it's not even what I'm feeling. Like it's what I'm feeling, but it's like, this can be seriously big right now. Like I already hear how things supposed to sound in my head while I'm mixing the song. So it's not even like I sit down and I'm like, what does this remind me of? It's like I already know what I want to do the minute I hear the song. It's like if I hear something in that moment, I always try to recreate it as fast as possible. Just because it's so fast that it can leave so fast too. So if you're not careful, ideas really come and go. Ideas come and go when it comes to music. Like I was listening to the guy who wrote "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time" by
Britney
Britney.
Spears.
Is it Britney? Right?
Yeah, Britney
That
Spears.
he wrote that song in the middle of the night. He was trying to sleep, and the lyric just came to him, and he was like, "I'll just write it by tomorrow morning." And he said he couldn't sleep because he knew he would forget about it the next day. So he woke up in the morning, got out of bed quickly. Back then the old tape recorders and stuff with the batteries in, turn it on, started recording the melodies, and that song became like an icon. Like that song is an iconic song.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the songs for Britney Spears till today. So it just shows that like ideas can come and go. Sometimes I'm in the shower. I have to get out and write the song. Or I know you probably understand too.
I know what you mean. I got some records I've not even recorded.
And that's the thing. It's like sometimes when you stop, you lose it. You lose that feeling. It's like, yeah, I think it's trash now. And it happens to producers a lot. Like you already hear all the sounds in your head, but it's like the more you tweak, the more you change. Let me. Yeah, it's trash now. I just throw it away. That's what they
Right.
tell us producers too. Yeah.
True.
So,
True. I like that you said the future. I like that you
so
said the
that's one
future.
as fast as possible because it just gives you. It's kind of nostalgic too because, like I said, future is like in some place in maybe 2030, they'll be looking for songs that had to do with the pandemic, and your song's gonna pop up.
Bro.
Because it might sleep another day. I'm like, damn. Somewhere in the future, 2050, some high school prom night. The theme is pandemic. Everybody wearing masks. What are they gonna play?
Siren. That's crazy. That's actually crazy because that makes a lot of sense because now you can tag a story like we talked about this. If I didn't talk about the pandemic, yeah, the beat is great. Yeah, the melody is great. Yeah, all the sounds are happening. But if I didn't have the right message for that song, then people wouldn't remember it as much because there's no value or substance to what I brought through the lyrics if I didn't deliver.
Facts. So the message is really important because a lot of songs they hit, they slap, first day release, but it loses its value over time.
Mm-hmm. There's some songs you can't hear again. If you play that song again, you'll be like, bruh, why are you playing this song?
I think it's songs that people don't really have any connection with. Like played in the clubs a whole like 2 months back to back. If you play it again, people tell you to play a different song. And I've worked at clubs and I know like songs just go away like that. Songs just disappear. And you hear them after a while, I'm like, oh, this song, I remember this song. But you still don't want to listen to it.
Oh man, yeah, that is true. You don't want to listen to a song that has bothered you or that's in your head that you can't get out. That's how addictive it is. If it's a song you want to hear, you'll listen to it. But if it's something that's forced on you, you'll start to resent it.
That's the problem with these labels is that they force songs on people so much that it just annoys a person just to hear it. It's like, there's a time where you just turn on the radio and you can just hear, lately, I want you to be happier.
That song is still played today.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Is it too late now to say sorry? That was all that was on the radio at some point.
All summer.
Or that song too, with DJ Khaled, I'm the one.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They're good songs, but over time they get annoying. So I feel like musicians too, we need to look at value, like you said. What would you be remembered by? Like look at Pop Smoke. His songs are really good, but unfortunately he died so young. But he had something fresh. He brought the deep voice. He wasn't doing everything everybody was doing. He brought the grime, style, that UK grime style.
Right.
He like Ice did to his own version. So always something fresh. something that you be remembered by.
Exactly. I think it's possible for you to still tap into that zone and be like that, because anybody can really get a whole new sound started. Look at reggae, look at pop, look at rock, look at soulful vibes, look at EDM. Where did that come from? So you got to think about your sounds, and look at Afrobeat today. It wasn't Afrobeat in the 60s or in the 70s. That was Afrobeat. Now we are talking about fusion. We're talking about styles. People are playing tracks and they can dance and they feel like, oh, is this R&B? No, it's Afrobeat.
With Drake too, hopping on that dance hall vibe.
Right. So I think we should be as diverse as our music, but that's the problem because people don't like to be diverse in their sound. So it's up to you to bring out that flair, that thing of, okay, this is my turf, this is my sound, this is what people should know me for, and then you bring it out. Before I used to be like, oh, people won't like my music because it's too much auto-tune. Who said that? Who told you that? Because people are making money through singing on auto-tune 24/7. But you got to think about, am I singing on this auto-tune to sound great, or am I singing on this auto-tune to make a statement?
Yeah. And that's one thing. It's like, don't do anything because everybody's doing it. I realized that like a while ago, like if everybody's doing it, like I said, just know that everybody's doing it. But don't just be completely like blind to see that everybody's doing it. But it's like, is that why you're gonna do it, or are you gonna take from that, add it to your sauce, and make a good food?
Exactly.
Something you think about diverse. A lot of people don't want to be diverse. But do you think? I'm questioning. Do you think it's the artist, or do you think it's the fans?
I think it's a mixture of both. Because some artists, I feel like they want to drop something so bad, but they're also feeling like, damn, are they going to really accept it? So now when you start battling with that question, you're already putting the question in question, because now you're not thinking about the result. You're thinking about the impact from your perspective, which is not even realistic because you've not dropped anything. So now you're putting yourself in the back burner because you're thinking that this song is going to flop, when in actual fact, this song might bring you to the Grammy stage, might bring you to a Pulitzer Award. It could be anything. So that moment when you feel like, this is what's going to work, this is what's going to happen. Just like the way Kanye was saying how he thought about this line about, I got a light skinned friend look like Michael Jackson. Got a black skinned friend look like Michael Black. I would say Michael Blackson, but I would say Michael Jackson. But you see, he said it the way he wanted to put it, and it sounded. Sorry.
Controversial also.
Right, controversial. He literally did that, black and white. Told you that, and you can't blame him because it's so smart that it's so simple. But you see, that line catches a fire, and then your whole catalog is in the roof. So it's not really about what song worked or what song didn't work. It's about, what did you think about when that song was being made? Did you put the right amount of energy, experience, and time into it? If not, sorry. Like some songs I listen to, I'm like, damn, I wish I could fix it. But again, I'm like, if I fix it, what would I have said that would change that song from where it is if I didn't put that amount of energy then? So now I'm thinking, okay, if it's my music, let me say what I want to say and see what people react to. Like now I've dropped God's Handwriting. I had a little feeling like people were not gonna feel it because it was like Afrobeat, like weird. Then I played it for someone and she was like, this sounds like a Latina vibe. This is a mixture of, I'm like, what? It is? So I didn't even know. Then shout out to Kaxi, he's from Malawi, and he made the thing, and he hit me up one day. Was like, yo, Philip, what's good? Random. And I was like, I'm chilling. And he was like, yo, I got something for you. And I was like, yo, man, just send me something. And he made that track that day, sent it to me during the week. I listened to the beat. I didn't have any lyrics. And I was like, damn, what am I going to say? That's always the hardest part of music. What am I going to say? But the moment you figure it out, and I don't wait to figure it out. I just let it happen. And you ask me how or why. I just feel like if that song keeps resonating in your head, you keep playing the beat over and over, and then you forget about it, an experience will happen to you that when you hear that song again, you want to fill in the words. And that's what happens to me every time. I'll listen to the beat, I'll be like, ooh, that's fire. Ooh, that's fire. Like, I already know the first track of Colorful Sounds 3. I already know what it sounds like. I've heard the beat. And he, shout out to Floaty Beats. You know, he's in Maine. And he played it for me on FaceTime. I was like, this is dope. Some EDM. I don't want to go too deep into it, but it's some crazy vibe for an intro that I've never done myself. But I know that when I put the pen down or when I put the mind to write the lyrics, the right thing will come. I'm not worried. I know that track will fill its space. But I think most people think too hard about, oh, if I change there to that, to this, you know, just literally trying to change little things that don't make sense.
Yeah, that's true. That's how Lockdown came through too. Lockdown, we just vibes, you know, vibes. Because I realized too, especially like, you know, in Afro music, even just any music in general, the vibe is more important than the lyrics. It is 10 times more important than the lyrics. Because look at Rema, his song you had to maybe. I looked the lyrics online, and they literally had question marks because they couldn't even understand the music.
No.
Yeah, they tried to translate what he was saying into lyrics, and it was just question mark in some place. And I was like, this song is still hard. It doesn't change anything from the song. So sometimes I just realize vibes are way more important right now. It's like melody, vibes, lyrics. Or okay, let me put it this way: beat, melody, vibes, and lyrics. That's just and the right marketing, obviously. But those are the most important part of making a good song.
That's why when you think about all these guys who are dropping bars with all this braggadocio and, you know, hot freestyles, they got bars. But think about the substance, think about the energy, think about the arrangement, think about the song. I remember watching Rhythm and Flow, and I was just seeing how, you know, people were doing it, and I was like, damn, it's hard. Some people can rap though, but if you want to put all those things together and still stand, you can drop by just looking at a crowd that's 1 million people because you forgot your lyrics. It's happened to me before. I've had a flash out. Like, I remember performing I think it was my first or second performance in college. It was Floodlights, and my friend Abel would be a testimony to this. They were chilling. It was in the PAC. Everybody was relaxed, you know, we're chilling. We just made this beat, like, we finished the track recording like yesterday, then we performed it the next day. So it's still fresh in my mind. I don't have the lyrics all together. They're all jumbled up, and then we're playing a track with no support because we don't have the mix. So I'm now having to freestyle on beat, and I flashed after the second bar, and I had 14 more bars to go. So what do you do on stage when you have 14 bars and you can't fill it up? So I had to turn into a hype man all of a sudden and go around the guys who were with me in the team. But of course, people noticed, but they could tell, like, I didn't want the show to end. And that day, I was like, I'm never, ever going to miss again. And it's not because I didn't know my lyrics. It's just because I didn't plan enough to, you know, go and recite the music. But, you know, you're right. Sometimes it just doesn't work that way. But I think the best part is that when things like this happen, it makes you grow. And now, when I'm performing, I did a performance at my school, Full Sail University, when I graduated, and I did the Hall of Fame. I opened the stage on a Tuesday, and I was on set for about 15 minutes. So if you think about all the tracks I could put in 15 minutes, think about it. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You know, it's like all this. It was more than 15. I think it was 45. Check it on YouTube. But
I think I saw a little bit.
Yeah, I was wearing some blue top. Yeah, that was me by myself. And I was like, damn, this is like a whole new setup. But I was like, you know what? This is what people are going to be doing one day. Like, you have your own stage, you have your own set, you have all your tracks. So to what you were saying, it's just best that you keep dropping as many tracks as you can. Drop them in 4s, in EPs, drop them in 10s as albums. Build them every year. You don't have to drop music every time. When I dropped September 25th, the first track I dropped was Rocket, January 13th. Then I dropped Submarine in May. But I had a whole 19-track album that people have not even finished in July 23rd. So it's like, I don't want to drop too much music, but when I drop, I want it to be substantial. So when people hear the new sound, they're like, what were you sounding like before? And then when they go before, they're like, not bad. Before you know it, they've gone all the way to your first track. Now, all your numbers are going up. You have content. You don't worry about what you were singing because it made sense to you then. Now, people who are catching on now are trying to revive that moment. And then they call you for a concert. Now you have to relive the moment too. So it's like you said, it's life. It's a cycle. So whatever you put out is what you're going to get back. If you're going to perform a song that blew and you didn't like it, how are you going to feel?
That's true. And that's one thing. I feel like artists, musicians, they technically have one of the hardest jobs too. It's up there with emergency workers and police and all of that. But those are hard. But as an artist too, that's hard work because imagine putting your time, your sweat, your blood, your everything, your electricity bill, everything, your paycheck, for somebody to say your song is trash. Like, it can break a person, man. Like, that's the thing with artists. Like, we try to serve people also. Indirectly. We don't see it that way. It's like, I make what I like. But at the end of the day, there's a fan factor too. It's like, what would they like? Because one album can ruin your whole career and like you're broke. Like everything you worked so hard for, you just don't get it the same way you did before.
Right.
So I feel like musician is so hard to understand the way everything works. And that's one thing Drake got right. Drake has mastered the craft. He's like, when we're talking about musician, is like a professional musician. Because he's like hits and paychecks come after that. So that's the thing, is like, if we don't understand the market, if we don't understand, how to be good at our jobs as musician and better ourselves, like, watch more videos, like, you just gotta do what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy anymore. The market is so saturated with everything. There's good music, there's weird music, there's like no music at all. Everything.
Oh man, that's true.
Anything is possible these days, so it's like we need to do better, to climb the market.
Right.
Too. But the Burna Boy, one of the things, like, I think we talked about it a while ago, one of the things Burna Boy said was anything that just goes up drastically, sometimes it would just come down immediately. Like, it's just like it's like physics, but anything that gradually, and steadily goes up, just slowly, yeah, it could come down, but the rate is going to come down. It's not going to be the same way the one that just spiked up went. So it's like, it's a gradual process. You climb, some bad experiences, some scams, you fall into, but we learn, like you said, we learn from those experiences, like lyrics flash, you forget your lyrics and stuff. We learn. Because if you never had that experience and you were in a position where it was a bigger deal, if you actually forgot your lyrics, it could have messed you up.
Big time. That would be the end of my career, So then I'm thinking, oh man, I've snapped. But nah, I was in front of my colleagues, so it's fine, in quote. But that's a lesson to tell you, hey man, if this thing happens again in real life, for real, in a position where you actually have money on the line, then you will be calling yourself unprofessional and nobody wants to work with you. Your name is burnt and now you have blacklisted on your name and you just don't want to. Now you feel like, I wish I never did music ever again. I wish I was doing something else. But you don't want to be that guy because you know what you have. So that potential should just bring itself naturally to you. And if you take it seriously, they will take you seriously. That's just how I see it. If you don't take yourself seriously, people can be like, yeah, he's tripping.
important. Yeah, if you can be comfortable with doing something to yourself, that's the way it is. You gotta show yourself some self love and
Mm-hmm.
understand yourself too.
Yeah.
It's very understand your sound, understand what speaks to you also. You know,
Exactly. Speaking of what speaks to you, who are your influencers?
so my influences are everywhere, everywhere. Because one thing I told myself was that there's so many songs in the world that at least I have to hear something new every day. There's no point of listening to something I've heard 200 times. And it doesn't mean it's bad, but it's like, let me explore. Life is short. Let me listen to something new. Just something random. A new artist. So, because of that, I heard so many people. Like, just last week, I was like, going back of the Bee Gees. Bee Gees' greatest hits.
Yeah.
Listening. Go, just so many things. But right now, I've really been studying Drake. Right now, I've been studying that guy. And I've always liked him too. Like before, right now, because of the melodic way he was, singing the R&B stuff.
Yeah.
Best. It was one of my favorites. Favorite song. So him, Michael Jackson, Chris Brown. Man, it's so like before I actually started making my type of music, I was listening to alternative music, like alternative indie style, like artists like The Fray, The Script. I don't know if you've heard of some of those guys.
I have. I haven't listened to much of the music, but I appreciate the music because I've seen the talents. I've seen the performances.
Exactly. Yeah, like Too Late to Apologize.
What?
Songs like that.
That was a hit.
Exactly.
Eh,
So
eh.
whole band making songs like that. Like,
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see.
more of just what speaks to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I respect people's work now more than their fame, I guess. So it's like I see this as the person I should follow. Follow their tracks, see what they're doing right, see what they did wrong. Because as much as these guys are big, they all have controversial, past and something or the other. So we have to learn from that too, so we don't make those mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
We can't always look at the good parts. Sometimes we have to look at the bad parts too.
Right.
So that's why I like look at so many people and see what they're doing right.
Right.
Right now, old school songs.
Okay.
Old school tracks. Any day, anytime.
Okay. Big time. Okay. Okay. So I would say this now that you have your ideas and your plans ready. What are your future goals with your music? I know you have ideas and they're gonna be building as you go, but what are you seeing like next year by this time?
Next year, I'm seeing at least a chart topping song. It might not be number one, but it's up there. It's like breaking in the scene slowly. That's what I see. Like next year, something like that. Then hopefully the year after that, because of the song I dropped next year, I get a Grammy or an award or something, like a BET award. That's what I see. Maybe a show. I see like just a small show happening. I don't know. I'll look at the fans and see where they are also, and maybe throw something over there and just bring people together. Next year maybe an EP, a small EP. 3 tracks, 4 tracks, something like that.
Okay.
That's what for next year. Yeah.
Okay. I want to see that for sure. Okay. If next year is going to have an EP, yeah, I definitely want to see how that's going to, ride in, have like a private event. Huh?
And definitely weird songs. Like I said, don't be surprised.
Right. I can only imagine what kind of eerie. And honestly, that's the kind of music, horror movies, thrillers, sci-fi. There's a market for everyone. You know what I'm saying? So it's possible.
Song like Thriller. I don't care if there is, but to me, there's no other song like Thriller. Thriller's a fun, like once in a lifetime song.
That's an iconic song. Nobody can beat that right now ever. Like, huh?
On TV back in the day, like you had to stop the channel and watch the whole video, then go on to whatever you're watching. Like, I remember growing up, just surfing channels and just see on like MTV Thriller music video. You just have to stop. And it's very captivating.
Right.
Very captivating.
Production. So those are the kinds of things we have to leave behind. And with that kind of music, we know that people are going to listen to us, and our kids are going to find our music somewhere else. They may not even use Apple Music. It might be called something else music. You know? So you said what?
I said it could be called Shavacc music.
Shavacc music, right? It could be anything. So at this point, it's just putting out that sound that, you know, when someone listens to, they'll appreciate you for playing or putting it out. Than you like, damn, I wish I never put this song out. You know, so there are some songs that would never see the light of day. Some tried, you know, but I think at the end of the day, it's really what you're feeling inside and who is listening that's going to resonate with your catalog.
I feel like as artists, we should have people around us that we can trust to tell us exactly what our music, you know, means to them too.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't have to be a lot of people. Because I heard Kendrick Lamar, he has, you know, different age range of guys around him that he can play his songs to, and they would tell him what's popping, what's not popping, you know, what he can do, how he can fix lines. So, you know, one success does not come from one person. Like, there's so many people around. It takes a village, you know, to create a hit song.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, I like that. Okay. I have some more insight, so definitely this has been a good one. I would like to say welcome to the Playroom. Thank you for joining the Playroom. You know, this is where we really go deep into music, entertainment, news, you know, feedback. Sometimes there's some stories that come out that would never have come out if the conversation was not struck. So this was a very, very good session, and I really hope you guys check out his music. If people want to reach out to you, how can they find you?
You can reach out to me on Instagram. I'm, you know, pretty active on Instagram right now. And, you know, if you want to send beats or you want to send, you know, something, you can reach out to me at backmusic@gmail.com. It's a BACHMUSEK@gmail.com. Yeah.
Bet. Yeah, guys, check out Siren. You said what?
My Instagram is @Shavacc, so SHAVACC.
Yeah, SHAVACC.
Yep.
Yeah, guys, go check it out. Siren, go check out Out the Water. Check out Come Over. Check out Wipe Your Nose. Check out Lockdown. Watch out for his EP. Add it to your library. Just be in the zone because he could surprise you anytime from now. Exactly. Exactly. If you guys want to learn more about, you know, the music, tap in, you know, get it on our news feed, get some more insight. You're going to know who he looks like, what he looks like very soon, the music videos, the pictures. You guys are going to be noticing a lot of people coming out. So just be on the lookout. Don't think this is just a random robot listening to music. We are human beings that have sounds that you've never heard before. So be informed, be educated, be entertained. This is music that is going to resonate, and we listen to the people that you listen to. So the music that we make should make sense like they do. So I think you're in a position to really, really enjoy what we bring to the table. Don't we?
For sure.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure too. Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Anytime, man. This is your first time in the Playroom. Definitely you'll be back again. And we're going to make this a big time happening for sure.
Myself, so,
that's good. I'm happy. I'm happy to hear that. Awesome, man.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm catch up with you later. Is there any last words you want to let them know before, you get out of the playroom?
Last words. I mean, shout out to my brothers, Shalom, Shalusha. Shout out to my friends and my parents, and shout out to God for everything. And everybody. I'll just say everybody just stay in touch. Keep in touch with what I'm about to bring out. And I have a song coming up, like a feature with Godfrey. So just be on the lookout for that too. Probably by the end of this month or next. They're getting a lot of people on that track too. So just get ready.
Exactly. You heard it first from the playroom. Exclusive only. You said what?
Yeah. Exclusive.
Oh yeah, for sure. We don't do no, random. We make this thing hot. You guys hear it first from here before it goes anywhere else. Facts. All right, bro.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Enjoy your evening.
You too. Peace.
Peace. You heard it first from the playroom. This is where we really, really go deep. This is where we actually give you insights. So thank you for tuning in. Check out Shavacc's music. Amazing, amazing artist. You do not want to miss anything at all. Peace out.